Welcome to Franchise Addicts, a podcast that covers every film in a given franchise. My name is Luke, and Chris is not here, but I made a call to the bullpen. We've got our guy Peter back from the last Crusade episode. Welcome back, Peter.
Thanks for having me. But hold on a minute. My name's Peter, but I wanted to tell you about my outlaw name. It's inspired by this guy. I know his name's the Toe Cutter, and I couldn't exactly bring myself to cutting toes. So my name is the Tree Cutter. I cut trees. I climb the big trees, big eucalyptus, mountain ash, climb them, cut them. Sometimes I'm a bush cutter, a bush trimmer, if you will. You got to keep the bush nice and trimmed. You don't want an unkempt, out of control bush. Hasn't been trimmed since Star Wars premiered in 1977. You know, you got to trim it right. You don't want it to be bare, like, with no foliage, no leaves at all. You got to have a nicely trimmed bush. I've got my own bush in my front yard, south side of the yard, down under, if you will. So, trim the bush trimmer, bush cutter, tree cutter, whatever you want to call me. That's what you can call me. On with the podcast.
Are you watching out for the koalas in the eucalyptus bushes, trees?
Watch out for the koalas and look at it. It's a kangaroo. Watch out for cricket mates. Yes, cricket uniform here.
Oh, I wonder if they call it a kit, much like they do in football.
Yes, a kit, a jersey, your favorite jersey. All right, that's enough with the Australian accent. I could go on, but I'm going to stop.
That's great. We are talking about the second film in the Mad Max franchise, The Road Warrior. So known as Mad Max when it was first released in Australia, they had to call it The Road Warrior when it released in the United States because the first Mad Max movie had only come out in limited release by the time The Road Warrior came out. So that's how it was released in America. That's how most people in America know the movie as Mad Max, The Road Warrior. And this is much like when we talked about Evil Dead. This is the influx of cash into the franchise. So first movie done for scraps. Much like,
and you could tell. So
I was going to do the Iron Man quote. You cut me off.
The what?
Tony Stark made this with scraps in the desert.
In a cave. Yeah.
And that's basically what George Miller does for the first movie. He scraps things together. He pays people in beer to do crazy stunts on motorcycles. And
I only learned that stuff when I listened to your podcast. My experience with these movies is literally in the last 2 weeks is the first time I've seen Mad Max 1 and Mad Max 2. And Mad Max 1 was not what I was expecting. I was expecting something more like Mad Max 2 because that's what I had seen growing up, little clips of dudes in leather and motorcycles, like doing crazy stuff like the boomerang, cutting the guy's fingers off. That was about it. And also, have you seen Weird Science?
No, I just heard it referenced.
So John Hughes in Weird Science has a cameo of all the Mad Max guys at the end of the movie. And the guy, Wes, is in it, and he's making fun of the two teenagers. And he said, "You can't even take a shower with a beautiful woman without wearing your jeans." That was my experience. So I'm very fresh with Road Warrior, and I'll tell you what, I was not disappointed.
Yeah, this film, the first time I saw it, which was before Fury Road came out. I think I mentioned this on the last show that when I saw the trailer for Fury Road the first time, I was like, what the hell is this? Mm-hmm. And found out it was a franchise. So I immediately watched the movies. The first one, it is what it is. Kind of a weird experience the first time watching it.
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, this pace is different. It breathes for a long time in certain parts that different kind of a pace of a movie. I thought maybe Goose was the main character in the first hour of that movie. Mel Gibson barely has anything to do, but I did like when it amped up at the end when he had to get revenge for his wife and kid being murdered. That was kind of what I was expecting, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then Road Warrior is more like if you are coming from Furiosa and Fury Road back to the original trilogy, you're going to feel more at home in the world of the Road Warrior. We're more in the apocalypse, basically society running down. It's not named basically what is actually happening.
Yeah.
But obviously society has essentially collapsed. This movie is about a, kind of oil refuge in the middle of a wasteland that is being marauded constantly by these like bandits that go around on motorcycles and stuff. Very much like Furiosa and the
Fury Road.
Well, in Furiosa, I was going to make the equivocation to Thor and his group of motorcycle bandits.
Thor, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth. His character in Furiosa is a lot more like Humongous in this movie as just like a main bad guy that's also in on the action and stuff like that, and like a part of the gang itself that is kind of traveling around and harassing people.
Yeah.
And that's like their main thing. And then Max is a completely different character in this movie than he is in the first one.
He's got a lot more to do in this one. And yeah, Mel Gibson does great with what he has to do. And I think one thing I like about these movies and any other movies that do this kind of thing where your main character is not the main driver of the story, he's just kind of a piece of the story. He's used as a tool sometimes, and he's got skills that help out the main story, but he's not the one driving the focus of the plot, which I find pretty interesting.
Yeah, and we will definitely talk more about Max as the main character and some of the, like you said, the special things that they're doing with this type of main character and all of that. We'll get into that with the big ideas from this movie later on. But if you made it this far, I never do this because I hate doing it. But please, if you could like and subscribe to the Franchise Addicts, I would really appreciate that. We just made it over 100 subscribers on YouTube. We've done that in a little over 3 months of being on YouTube now, but we've been a podcast for 18 months. So it's nice to see the support, but let's keep it going. Let's keep the subscribers up. I know we don't carry too many people past 8 minutes of a video, but here we are. Now more about the Road Warrior. So yeah, the first movie, Mel has to do like the full transition. So from just a cop with things in society kind of like going wonky, out on the road, high speed chasing. He is in a violent world and it is only getting more violent. He's trying to resist the violence. He doesn't, one more day out on the road and I'll just turn into one of them.
So I honed in on that listening to your podcast, and I let that inform me while watching this one, because there's some pivotal stuff with that when the movie does take a little bit of a breather from the action. One of the head honcho from the oil sanctuary has a conversation with him, which is great.
Very good stuff. So yeah, Mel has to, in the Road Warrior, this is, it's told from the perspective of one of the child character in the movie,
the feral child.
Yeah, he's the narrator. So this is like right away, it starts with a narration. It starts with kind of the still that is zooming in of Mel on the road in his, beat down attire. And so like it is building the idea of Max as this myth. And this is just one of the stories of a person that ran into this mythical guy, Mad Max.
Yes.
And so Mel has to, in the performance, like wear years and moments of just being worn down from this person that he's become since his family has died.
And the costume reflects it. He's got one sleeve that's completely missing. Other stuff's all tattered up, and he's got that sweet leg brace on one leg. Mega props to the costume design of this entire movie. It's phenomenal.
So,
and what I'll say about this whole prologue, I kind of feel like, do you need the first movie at all? Maybe that's
much like Evil Dead. Evil Dead 2 basically gives you a 5-minute recap of everything that happened in the first movie, so that you really don't have to watch it. Now, I think it adds a ton of depth to the performance that Mel is giving, since obviously he's in the first one. He is drawing from that character in the second movie.
He finally becomes the Max that we know at the end of the first one.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And it does seem, just watching from the first to the second, it seems like that carryover is natural. Like he is in the spot where we expect him to be, which is kind of just scavenging around the wilderness, just trying to keep himself alive. He's got his faithful dog named Dog.
Is that the dog's name? Dog?
Dog's name is just Dog. That is his named character.
The dog is cute.
So the dog, a fun fact about that good boy, he was in a kill shelter nearby where they were filming. And so they rescued him, and he was adopted by one of the camera guys after the movie. So,
and he's well behaved enough that they could use him in a movie.
Yep, he was able to train. He didn't like loud noises, so the cars frightened him. So they made him customized earplugs, little dog earplugs, so that he could hang out the entire time. So he is a good boy. We like Dog the dog. He might be my performance of the movie, just hanging there. He gets
it with that crossbow, though. Oh man,
my cat Bo doesn't like all this dog talk.
Horrible. So. I have two cats on either side of me. You can't see them right now.
Most podcasts that I record, Bo is right here on my lap the entire time.
Emotional support.
Yes, yeah. In case the post-apocalyptic world gets too scary, I can just hold him and feel a little bit better.
Good. So, can I give you my initial big hot take on this movie and all sequels in general?
Yeah.
It is of my opinion that this is the greatest jump in quality from the first movie to the second movie.
All right.
I didn't struggle through the first one. I was just like, it wasn't what I was expecting. And this one, I was like all in 100% of the time, like completely focused, loved all the stunts. There's tons of examples of sequels being better than.
So have you seen the Evil Dead movies?
Yeah.
Do you think Evil Dead 2 is significantly better than the first?
No, I'm with Chris. I disagree.
I would also, this time around going through it, I would also disagree with that.
Yeah, I think the first one is better because there's a little bit less of the like schlocky, cartoony stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's okay.
I still think 2 is better. But I do feel like it's closer than I originally thought.
I feel like I was more frightened by the stuff in the first one. I don't know. There was weird, eerie stuff that they did in the first one with such a limited budget, which I took into account when I was watching it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really buy into Toy Story until Toy Story 2. So
what? Okay.
I thought it was the most outrageous example.
Do you think Toy Story 2 is better than Toy Story 1? I don't.
No.
I don't. Yeah.
But I do think Toy Story 2 is better than people give it credit for. That's usually the lost one.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. Good to great.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with the most preposterous example. That was
preposterous.
The one that came.
But so there's tons of examples of sequels being better than the original. Terminator to Empire Strikes Back. But the first one is so good that it is a jump in quality to the second one, but I'm talking about jump in quality from this one, from Mad Max 1 to Mad Max 2 is gigantic. The cinematography is all better. The framing of big, wide helicopter shots to show what's going on, the scope of it, you know where you are in an action scene. They kind of like half use the gyrocopter man as like a stand-in helicopter point of view.
That is specifically why George Miller wrote that character into the plot, so that
they have a POV kind of a shot, kind of a setup.
That and it caused them to be able to argue for helicopter shots to be put into the budget.
Oh, fantastic!
They're like, we've got a character that's driving around in this cool helicopter. We're going to need shots from an actual helicopter for this, and they're like, okay, yeah, throw that in the budget.
Yeah, and I noticed that right away. It really helped you get the scale of it. The costumes are phenomenal. The action in the first one, I loved all the crashes in the first one. The crashes in this one are amazing. I love seeing the cars actually bust up into 1,000 pieces when they collide.
Yeah,
amazing.
I think they actually almost shot for shot remake some of the stuff from the first movie. There's the crash at the end that kills Humongous. That is very similar to what kills Toe Cutter. But it looks way better.
It looks way better, but I got to give a shout out to the zoomed in shot of Toe Cutter's face with the bulging eyes, like he's being strangled on the surface of Mars in Total Recall.
I mean, shout out to George Miller, both in the first movie and in this movie, just having almost no respect for the death of the main bad guys, just like kind of tossing them away. Like
unceremoniously.
Yeah, whatever. Like Papagallo, like I thought until he like pops back up for the quick jump scare, basically for the kid when he was going for the shotgun shell. But I thought I'm like, man, did Miller really just run him over with the front of the trailer and basically not pay any attention to it at all? Because you just kind of see him like
he flips over the hood.
Yeah, he flips over the hood and like immediately goes under, and you're like, oh yeah, he's dead for sure, unceremoniously again. Because basically Toe Cutter is like a part of the chase in the first movie. Then a semi comes out of nowhere just erases him,
smashes him.
Then there's 20 more minutes of the movie where he is chasing down the secondary bad guy.
Was that Johnny Boy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was ruthless. Did you call it? So the guy in this movie with the red mohawk, do you call him Papagallo? I thought his name was Wes.
Papagallo is his character given name.
What?
I think Wes is the guy that's the proclaimer for Humongous that gets his fingers chopped off, right?
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure. I can double check that. I'll double check that for you.
We got our phones. So I was watching this movie, and then at the end of it gave me a suggestion for Inner Space, and I love the movie Inner Space, and I didn't know that one of the henchmen in Inner Space, who has the one hand with different detachable weapons, is the red Mohawk guy from Road Warrior.
Oh, you're right. It is. Wes is the Mohawk guy.
Vernon Wells. Wes.
Vernon Wells.
Yeah.
Papagallo must.
Hey, look who it is. Hey,
the Time Lord himself.
Joining us. Yes.
Sorry about that. I was traveling in the Australian area.
The outback.
The outback.
In the outback, gonna murder a brown snake. You know what I mean?
Yes, I was doing that. I actually ate it. I actually ate that brown snake. Unfortunately, I did have lunch, so I had to. I was that desperate.
Gyrocopter dropped it on you from up above.
Oh yeah, we're friends. Like my friend's literally that character in Road Warrior. I was like, hey dude, can you give me a brown snake? And he did, and I was like, yeah, I birded It was crispy. It's well done, folks.
Nice.
Andres, how did you come to The Road Warrior?
Oh man, I think the so in contents, I think the World Warrior was my first Mad Max film. I'd never seen the first one. It's this movie is the rare exception for me as a movie fan, where I see the sequel before the first movie, and yeah, I've been I'm universally agree with everyone. The World Warrior is the greatest sequel of all time. It's is the definition of like this is what the series is.
So
Moving forward.
Peter, not 5 minutes ago, said that is the largest improvement from a first movie to a second movie in film history.
I have to agree.
There you go.
Just a little context. When I had the first time seeing the first one, I was so surprised how different it was from like the sequels that I saw. Because at that point, I saw I think it was before Fury Road came out in 2015, and I was like, oh wow, it's very different.
Yeah.
But I like the first one, because how different it is. But I prefer what we got from Road Warrior.
Yeah, it
onwards.
seems like Road Warrior is so definitive that it like spawned its own genre of this kind of thing, like hot leather dudes. Like let's take all the hot leather outfits that you want to see a woman in, but we're going to put only dudes in this type of outfit, and we're going to flip the script. And just the whole post-apocalyptic, like crazy outfits kind of genre, this movie seems like it spawned it. Am I wrong on that? I don't know.
So I'm going to use that to jump into my first big idea for Mad Max: The Road Warrior, and it has to do with the genre of this movie. Is Mad Max: The Road Warrior a Western, or is it a post-apocalyptic movie? Because this movie has a lot of Western story structure, a lot of just vibes of, a Western. And, but yet it is told in a post-apocalyptic world. And that is kind of the main thematic driver.
Sure. So like a formula like Seven Samurai or Magnificent Seven, where you have like these outsiders that come to a town who need help, and the outsider reluctantly agrees to help, but is the key piece in helping them.
Yeah, exactly. It is, insert John Wayne runs up on a town that doesn't have a sheriff anymore and needs him to protect the town. And he befriends a child who is kind of his, moral and compass is, essentially his soul personified. And he learns that, maybe the tools that he's learned being a loner are helpful in this situation, but he really needs to come back to community, back to home, back to family and people once again. And he finds that through sacrificing himself to save a people.
Right. And he has that whole sequence of trying to go out on his own and fails.
And it never works. When that main protagonist, that Western character, does just, fulfill his contract, take his reward money or whatever, and turn away from the town, there's always something worse that happens to then bring him back.
So it's kind of a Han Solo kind of a trope where he takes the reward money for rescuing Princess Leia, and you think he's gone, but he comes back to save the day in the end.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Yeah. It follows that kind of story format, where like you always follow those low, characters that they're kind of at first selfish, but then you realize throughout the film they're actually more caring than they let out to be, because of from unspecified previous event that we have never saw, something happened to them that made them into this isolated kind of people. And especially with Mad Max, you understand why he got to that, from if you haven't seen the first movie, you know that his family got killed by those bikers in the 1979 classic film. So you understand from going to this movie is like, yeah, I get why you don't want to get yourself involved with community. And it's the old testament of storytelling, the hero's journey. And you see Max going through the hero's journey by like, okay, I have to do this, because what else I have left, because he lost his dog, he lost his car, and it's like, towards the end of that movie, I'm like, yeah, come on, man, Max, kill those, crazy people.
Yeah, and what a better modern example of a cowboy and his horse than Mad Max and his supercharged interceptor.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know, have you guys talked about this, but another great example from this series is that car, the iconic, I forgot the name of the car. Interceptor. Yeah. One of those great iconic cinema, vehicles, up there with the American, the Millennium Falcon, the the Back to the Future card, like it's
the DeLorean,
DeLorean, right? It's really up there, and this movie really like make that car like stand out.
Motorheads, they love those zoomed in shots of the engine doing whatever it is that it does, and whirring and zipping and nitrous oxide.
I think it's only in the first like 15 minutes of the movie, and then it's kind of sidelines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The car that was used in this movie was supposed to get scrapped like all the other cars that they basically pieced together, and it was protected and then bought later. So the original Interceptor, I believe, is still alive somewhere.
Yeah, I heard of that, which, I mean, because they don't save, back then, they don't really save previous stuff from the movies, That was not a thing, back then.
Yeah, and the idea of swapping out, so in like the movie Rango, for instance, the trouble that the town is going through is that they don't have water, because there is, been irrigation and damming going on that has led to them not having the same water supply. In the Road Warrior, it's gasolina.
The juice.
The guzzling.
Gasolina. No, I think it was gasolina to be consistent from Fury Road.
And like that becomes like everything. That is what is traded with. It is what is sought after, is the ability to just be able to move around, because the wasteland is so vast. You have to be able to move in order to survive, and gasoline becomes the currency of the realm.
Yeah. Fantastic MacGuffin for for the universe. Like one of the things that George Miller does such a good job with, and especially when you get into Fury Road and later on in this marathon, he does such a good job of just setting up the world. You understand how it got to this point, or like they have this terminology that is like very weird, but like you kind of understand that. Like just right now, Luke, you brought up gasolina, and it's like, oh yeah, it's gas, but the way they say it is like very unique, and they're like this apocalypse setting, and yeah, I mean the costumes. I mean Peter, you brought up before, the costumes with the with the villains is so unique, because it's like it just shows you how like there's no like what's the word conformity now, because society is kind of break it down, and so everyone is like a little more expressive in terms of their personality. Like, oh, that is so unique, and it shows you like and it's very subtle. Like when you see the settlers, they're white.
They wear white and yellow, and the bad guys
are black,
mostly wear black. And so I was watching with one of my sons a little bit, and I was like, oh, these costumes are great. Good guys are white, bad guys are wearing black. And then my son goes, hey, but Mad Max, he's wearing black. And I was like, yes, like that's the point. that Luke was making is that he's afraid he's going to become one of them. He's wearing black like the bad guys. Is he one of them? Is he a good guy? We don't know. So that was a point that I found to have a very interesting little conversation with my son about the use of costumes in black and white.
Well, and Max is a nation of one. Like that is who he is. That's how he identifies. That's how people see him, as a scavenger, a selfish guy who is out for himself and himself only. That's his survival tactic. That's the only person I can protect is myself. So that's it. And that's just like, it adds to his mythical qualities because he can't be understood because he doesn't want to be understood. He doesn't want to be analyzed by society. He is his own entity.
And to survive on your own for so long, I feel like he's got to toe the line of good and bad just to survive.
Yeah. Like, it's basically what the situation calls for. It just happened in this situation that it called for him being a hero. It could have turned differently if his incentives were different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with the black costume where with Max, I want to bring up two things. First off, it just brings that kind of gray area with Max. As Peter said before, you don't know if you could trust Max either. If he's either a villain or a bad guy. But a funny thing about the costumes is that initially the bad guy for this movie and was supposed to be the friend from the last movie from Mad Max, and Goose's buddy. Yeah, and the reason I'm bringing that up now is because it made more sense now because a lot of them, not the ones that have the weird fetish designs, but the ones with the police that inform you that was actually his friend, and that these are several maybe cops that he recruited over the years of the apocalypse. So
you're saying Goose was supposed to be the main bad guy?
Yeah.
It's burnt up, mangled Goose.
No, it's Goose's friend who burns up in the car crash in the first one.
Yeah.
So it's basically he never died.
Okay, sure.
And this is just basically what he's turned into. Miller decided to not make it a direct reference, but there are subtle references. Like he uses a police issued handgun with the scope on top of it, and has like police paraphernalia on the car that he drives that suggest that like this person at least was a part of the police force, so has that connection to Max.
Yeah,
and Humongous was an ex-cop.
Yeah, initially you can theorize that he could be.
Sure, I like that little stuff. You don't have to outright say it, but you guys and all the internet and history has put it together that this could be part of the backstory, that's great. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And just wrap this up. You can also see some of the like henchmen with police cars and all that. So like it does inform the initial like storytelling before they went with like no, let's keep it like original and separate from the first movie.
So let's talk more about the character of Max in this movie because it is much different than the first movie that we see. And the big standout thing in this is, why does Max not talk? He has about 12 lines of dialogue in the movie, two of those lines are, "I just came here for the gasoline," basically, "give me my gasoline." It is that kind of Western vibe, but it is married along with that post-apocalyptic survivor mythos of you can't trust people. And part of the way that you show that you trust people is you communicate with them. You talk to them, you open up about yourself, you explain why you are the way that you are. And Max refuses to do that. He won't
kind of
do
Clint Eastwood man with no name, barely speaks kind of a guy.
And Peter, you referenced the conversation that he has with kind of the leader guy. I can't remember what his name is.
The leader guy.
Zeta, the kind of the de facto leader who gets shot in the leg and was originally going to drive the trailer. They have this conversation basically before Max leaves, and he's grilling him. He's like, "What happened to you? Like, I promise you,
like you're
like,
the
you can get
trash out
over
there.
it.
You're garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great point of taking a breath from the action. That was very important of forcing Max to reflect upon his past and what he's going to do in the future. And he makes his choice, but I'm sure he's thinking about his choice as he's laying there next to that rock with a bleeding face, hardly even able to lift his gun, which, I mean, I love older movies like Indiana Jones and Die Hard, where our hero just gets fucked up and like they're not a Superman and they struggle terribly. Like I was at the edge of my seat, like, oh my God, he can't even lift his gun. He can't even defend himself and just gets lucky,
Yeah.
It's great.
And to even have the comment when he comes back and is like, I'm willing to drive the rig. They're like, you can barely stand, guy. And he's just like, all you have to do is just set me down behind the wheel. Like that's all my body can physically do. But if I can do the job, I'll do it. And I think basically Max not talking allows for us to learn more about the world through the other characters, because we understand Max's perspective. We don't need to understand anything more about what Max thinks about the world and thinks about the people in it. But we do want to hear what other people, like what happened? Like, who is this gyro captain guy? Like, we do need him to talk a bunch because he's a weird and wacky character, and I need to know what's going on with this guy. And
that's low. When he finds out the gun wasn't even loaded, low.
His security, his snake security would have worked with Indiana Jones. Does not work with Max.
No.
No one's ever gotten past the snake.
No. And the dog, like he has a tense relation with the dog every time he encounters it. It's funny. This movie with the character Max, like he's what you call a static character. It's something where you have your main character not going through a character arc because it's not necessary to the story. Like a good example of this is Captain America in the Winter Soldier, the sequel to the 2014 film. Like he is still Captain America there. It's sort of like the Superman thing where he inspires the people around him that are like very cynical and they go through a character arc. And with this movie, it's the same thing where you see Max, he helps these people to like actually get through the mission, and the only thing we just discover from this movie is that he still cares and he still has that police hero in him. It's just that he has become cynical and what's the word, like jaded because of the many years of this like apocalypse, but also the loss of the family. So and initially George Miller, he's a great director. Something I appreciate, unlike today's movies, is visual language. Like what's going on with the scene, like when he does the like that toy thing with the the feral kid, he's just playing around with the kid. It's like it's just simple scenes like it tell you what's going on with his head, and the way and Mel Gibson, he's a great actor. The only reason this character works is because Mel did such a good job of like molting his face, like you can tell what's going on. That's a hard thing to do, like a role you don't speak a lot, and he does a really good job in terms of this character.
Mel really took ownership of this character. He came onto set with the idea to rip the costume up to give Max a more weathered visual appearance. Mel had gotten his knee hurt, so the limping was all him limping around. Basically, he was on crutches between shots. So
really?
So the knee brace was warranted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, did the character get shot in the leg in the end of this first one?
Yeah. I thought
so. That's why the brace is there,
is
to carry over from that. But yes, he was actually hurt himself, so he was just adding to it. But like you were saying, Andres, I think he's incredible. Any of the clips that I put out where we talked about Mel Gibson from the first movie did not get watched by anyone. So people are still furious at Mel Gibson.
Understandable.
Completely understandable.
Yeah.
But he is undeniably an incredible performer. And the fact that, like you were saying with Clint Eastwood, with the man from No Name character, the fact that you can just hold the camera with basically your looks and be really compelling. Like the Max character shouldn't be as compelling as he is, but they've created the mythos, and Gibson just embodies the mythos so well.
Yeah, he amps up his performance from the first one, which I said, like, he's not even the main character for nearly half of the movie and doesn't have too much to do until the very end, and he carries over that performance from the end of the first one into the second one and delivers just wonderfully. I mean, all Mel Gibson stuff aside, like Braveheart for the longest time was my favorite movie until Fellowship of the Ring came along. So like, yeah, I guess I'm able to separate the man from the movie maker, but yeah, he's good.
Well, he's also the lead in an incredible performance in mine and Andres' favorite action movies, buddy cop movies, Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, I was going to say that he's still for me. What's his last? Oh God,
Martin Riggs.
Martin Riggs. Thank you. Oh my God, there's so many years. Riggs.
Over the shit.
I'm getting too over shit. Oh my God. Yeah,
Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon is on a whole other level.
He gets to be like Mad Max if Mad Max was like kooky in Lethal Weapon, right?
Yeah. I mean, he had a dog. He gets 2 new dogs in later the sequels, which is funny.
He lives in the trailer that Brad Pitt's character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
That's funny.
I kind of agree with Pierre. I always separate the artists from what's going on in their personal life, and Mel, he's still a fantastic director and actor. I think I don't know with the clips. I think people just know his performance with Mad Max with these movies, right? Because it's like you're not like I don't know this duration doesn't know too much about the 79 film where the Road Warrior is like constantly referenced and like constantly been like I think when you do these clips with the Road Warriors, like people I don't know. I
feel like, and we can talk more about it on the next episode, which will be on Beyond Thunderdome, but I feel like Thunderdome is the hot Mad Max movie from this trilogy nowadays. Like within the last 5 years, it seems like Thunderdome gets talked about more. And it just is a completely different movie. First off, it wasn't even written initially to have Max in it. I mean, we'll talk more about this later, but it wasn't even written to have Max in it. They're just like, well, what if we make Max the guy that runs into this town? We can just do that now since we've turned him into a mythological character that just shows up into people's lives. So they made it a Mad Max movie, but Road Warrior, I think I want to say his performance in the first movie to me is better.
Really?
Okay.
I am just really taken with that movie. Okay. I think a lot like when I revisited the first Terminator movie, and it was just like I didn't appreciate how good this movie is. I didn't appreciate how good the first Mad Max movie is and how good Mel is in it for being his first movie performance. I was blown away. But Road Warrior is a whole different beast and sets up the character for all the remaining movies, and then even into the Tom Hardy performance where Hardy can just slide in and just try to embody the same thing that Mel is doing in the first 2 movies, Road Warrior specifically.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I guess for me, it's just because here he's like a little older now, and like you see him having more experience. That's the thing about the sequel is because everyone learned so much from the first movie, and like this took it to 11. Just for this, like everything is so polished and like so extreme is like hell yeah. in the first movie, it's just them, learning how to like create the film, and
Well,
that.
so I just thought about this. So humor me for a second. But a lot of times what happens in these types of movies is we have, especially if it's setting itself up to be a franchise, we have the guy in the first movie and we kind of get we get inserted into his life, and then a crazy thing happens to him and he changes and he comes out in the end. And so the second movie, the changes already occurred. He's already a hero or whatever. And usually what the second movie will do, or they'll wait to the third, is like kind of cast that guy out into the wilderness and then bring him back into society to like reclaim his former heroics or whatever. But Mad Max is different. The movie I always think about that is Shooter, just because of how ridiculous they made Mark Wahlberg look when he went out into the wilderness and like grew his hair super long and then shot a can of beans from a mile. Just to see if it could be done. That movie is incredible. Shooter is an incredible.
I've seen that movie since I first saw it, whatever it came out years ago. So
I
no idea.
If we get to 200 subscriptions by the end of the week, I will do a podcast by myself where from memory I do a minute by minute recap of the movie Shooter.
What?
Look,
what are you talking about? Minute by minute? It's like if you're on a plane and you need to just kill 2 hours, you close your eyes and you can watch Shooter on your eyelids from memory.
Yeah. I'll do that. If we get to 500 subs by the summer, I'll do the same thing for the movie Battleship.
Oh my God.
Which is an incredible movie. The bombs they shoot at the ships are shaped like the battle-shaped pegs. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I did see a little bit of that movie. That's pretty good.
Taylor Kish steals a microwavable burrito from a gas station when it is closed for Brooklyn Decker, because
funny.
he is hitting on her at a bar, and that's what she asked him to do to get her number.
Do you think John
from
Carter
that moment on, I was good.
Do you think John Carter failed because Taylor Kish can't really carry the movie?
No, I
don't think he could carry the weight of being a star of a movie.
I think if John Carter came out after Dune, it is way more successful. People weren't ready for that.
No,
because that is out there from a fantasy novel standpoint.
Personally, for me, I like Taylor Kish. He's a good actor. I think it's just
I'm like the number one Taylor Kish defender.
No. I like.
Well, let's hear it, you two. Let's hear about it. Yeah.
No, Taylor Kish is a great actor. He had a lot of potential. And in terms of the John Carter movie, my problem was Disney didn't market the film right. Like, first of the title.
Title's not good.
Yeah, if they just say John Carter Goes to Mars, whatever the initial title was, that
Princess of Mars.
Princess of Mars, right? Like, if you stick with that was fine. And of course, like Dune, of course, there's going to be comparisons to this material from other movies because, like, I didn't know that this. Like Star Wars took heavily from this, John Carter, like just like Dune. So of course you're going to be compared to that. So I feel like Disney didn't do a really good job of like marketing that film and like, and it wasn't Taylor Kitsch's fault. He was putting in really bad projects they were in a time where, this one movie was way successful. Like Battleship was like a week of the Avengers was released. So, that was like any movie that was.
It's also a very stupid movie about an
Battleship.
alien attack on Pearl Harbor.
Based on a kid's game.
Sport, yeah.
But
they were just
so
trying to be
loosely, Peter, so loosely.
Except for the bomb shape.
It would almost seem like it was a completely different movie that they just slapped that title onto and then switched the CGI shape of the bombs.
Yeah, I'm here for it. That's a goofy ass maneuver. That's great. It's a great decision.
It is one of the most entertaining bad movies to watch, in my opinion.
I mean, at least we got Lee
It
Neeson
brings back that like that 90s Jean-Claude Van Damme type just schlock. Action schlock, which we need more of these days. Not action schlock though. The final chase scene, we get the fuel tanker, we get Max behind the wheel, We get a plan from the community. What is the plan? We don't quite know. We could probably guess, but we don't quite know. And we get just a before Fury Road action scene. For how nuts the world went over Fury Road and everything that happened in that movie, people should have been losing their minds in the 80s, because this scene absolutely rips.
So I saw Fury Road before I saw any of these older movies, and the DNA of that's in Fury Road is all in this movie, with just there's little things like dudes using poles as like little pole vaulting maneuvers, people like hanging from stuff and swinging from stuff, like old school like 1930s era action of like sliding down a sail like Wes does in that one part that was earlier in the movie. But oh man, when people talk about, I was watching a movie and I was on my phone and I was distracted, I was taking the lights off of my Christmas tree while I was watching this movie, and I just stopped what I was doing, and I was just absolutely, it pulled my focus and it demanded, like I was just jaw dropped at what I was seeing. The action was so fantastic. Loved it.
Yeah, and it's all practical.
Yeah.
All real stunt guys and just people that are pulling off the streets again, just doing this stuff. And it looks it. Like, I love how not fluid a lot of the actors seem when they're transitioning, like trying to jump onto the tanker, or even them just kind of rattling around in the cars. It looks like they're in vehicles going 70 miles an hour in a desert.
Just like, a little stunt of him getting on the rig, Wes getting on the rig. I was like, God, that's so freaking dangerous.
Yeah.
This is the peak of action films. Like the chase, it's literally what, like when I saw this movie before Fury Road came out. So when I saw that movie, I was like, oh my God, it's totally Road Warrior. Because I mean, it's like what. How I can explain Mad Max is like it's this one road action, like just continuous shot of just mad action, and then this is what this movie is like. Just the chase scenes really spectacular. The stunts is crazy. It's improvement from the last film because we didn't get that. Like it was just like cars, typical car chases. So for this, it's so cinematic. And yeah, I never thought about this like recently, but like the tank here that Max drives is like kind of similar to what the the character Furiosa is going to use in Fury Road, and then of course the prequel. But there's a couple things that Thunderdome does that is more carry over in the Fury Road when you guys get to that. But yeah, I always loved this scene because it's first off, it's action, but it's also like, oh my God, it's like the heroes are going down like one step and another. It's like
they're losing the entire time. And if you don't know kind of the twist at the end that they are the diversion, you don't understand why that, the Zeta guy is like, we did it. We won. It's like, you guys are surrounded by the bad guys still. And like he dies and you're like, oh no, like he didn't get to, be okay when they get away. And then like the truck flips and you're like, oh, they're just the diversion. So yeah, when he's like, we did it. We did the job. We've held them off for long enough. We've kept him away from the people. Like,
did Max know that he was the diversion, or was he tricked?
I think Max did not know.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I
think he when he is feeling the sand at the end, he's like, well played. Because
he's kind of happy. He's surprised and like in respect their maneuver.
I think it is respect, because he has to drive like he is carrying their entire like life sustaining thing. Like that is how he is driving for their lives. And so I think that adds to like, that is why he is doing everything he possibly can.
He has been molded into a good guy. He's not going to go on a revenge rampage after this and chase them down. Like, what? Look what you did to me. I was just a diversion. I'm rich. sacrifice my life for you, bastard.
Oh my god.
No, he's okay. He's a good
No,
guy.
he's gonna do it.
Wow.
That's
He doesn't have a vehicle. He's
No.
kind of stranded in the
Stranded.
wilderness.
Gyro Captain crashed, so he can't ride with him, right?
No,
Gyro
well,
Captain comes back.
Yeah, well, he goes with the other people when we see towards the end. Because
Well, Gyro Captain joins their community.
Join.
Max
Becomes
goes
their
off.
leader, right?
Yeah, Max goes
Yeah.
off by himself. But yeah, Gyro Captain comes and picks up Max at the end. So Max is
Yeah.
has gotten back, understands what's happening.
So Andres, you said stuff about Mad Max inspiring others. Did Mad Max inspire Gyro Captain to abandon his cowardice? Because he was trying to get headband 80s chick to run away with him, and then he decides not to.
he's a funny character. I love him because he's not
like
a
him too.
coward. He's not a coward. He's this very eccentric captain that he thinks he's tough, but in reality he's just this very timid
Lanky,
guy.
skinny, awkward
Well,
guy.
Yeah.
he's the arbiter between the two worlds for Max.
Yes.
Exactly. Max needs Gyro Captain, Sushi dreams of Euro Captain to bring him to society again, to basically let him know it's okay in the only way that Max can, by taking him prisoner and essentially controlling his every movement.
Well,
when they're doing the chase and stuff, and he takes the blow darts to the engine and goes down, I thought he was done. The fact that he pulled out on that, I have no idea how that worked. I don't know how he's alive, but I'm happy.
Yeah. I think he was supposed to die, but then I don't think they could have.
He's too lovable.
Yeah, too lovable. What I like about him, because he is a good example of he learned to respect Max, and because he saved him after he gets what is it? His car, he gets ambushed by Wes. That after he leaves, because he already done the deal, and so without him, the Gyro Captain, he could easily be dead. After that.
What a filmography for a guy up at the top here. He's the Gyro Captain,
Bruce Spencer or something.
Bruce Spence. He's also Tion Medon in Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, that's what that one is. He's also a Black Lieutenant in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he's that weird, creepy.
Is he the mouth of Sauron?
No, he's the guy who comes out from the gate.
He's the mouth of Sauron.
That's called the mouth of Sauron.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you didn't watch the extended versions, Peter.
No, I don't watch. I for some reason only have Return of the King on extended.
I don't know why they didn't include that. It's
because Aragorn commits a war crime and kills a messenger, which is what the mouth of Sauron is. And Aragorn doesn't do that in the book, but I'm like, that's pretty badass. That guy looks pretty bad to me, so I think it's fine that Aragorn kills him.
Yeah, I think any one of Sauron's minions is okay to kill at any moment.
Right. And Tolkien wrote it that way, that these are almost faceless,
Nazis.
Nameless minions that he purposefully didn't want to have any kind of compassion or thought behind them. It's just they're fodder to be killed. They're just bad.
Yeah. Yeah, they're evil to be driven back underground, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew Bruce from I don't know if you guys remember this. He was one of the the vultures from Ace Ventura 2, When Nature Calls. And
yes, that's right.
That's where I just remember that scene towards the end when he say, "Hey, vultures, say hello to my little friend," and he has to stunk his brains. Yeah, I remember him there, and obviously I remember him from episode 3 where he tells Obi-Wan they're up in level 2 or whatever, the
Oh, that's that guy, the weird looking alien who looks like evil, but he's just a good guy, I guess.
Yeah, well, he's been held hostage by the Separatists that's under the control of General Grievous. I didn't know he was in the Lord of the Rings until recently, because I had to do a review for the extended cut of the Return of the King, and I was like, oh wow, because he's like that character actor that gets into those makeups and is he has that built, as one of those people. It's like Doug Jones.
I was just going to say, Doug Jones kind of a guy.
Yeah,
exactly. Doug Jones, the quarterback for the Washington Commanders in the 80s?
No, Luke. How dare you? Doug Jones, the man.
Guillermo del Toro's main monster man.
Yeah, main monster man. Come on. Respect.
Yeah.
And also the zombie from Hocus Pocus.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, good trivia, because I didn't know that until recently. I was like, oh yeah, the zombie guy. Love him.
This is the weird stuff that we have in our brains, like mostly useless stuff. So that's why we're doing this kind of a podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How
Loving every minute of it.
Yep.
How else would this knowledge get out of my brain if not for this?
It's all pent up in there.
Let's move to our awards so we can talk about a couple more scenes here. So
awesome.
I'll kick it over to you, Andres. What was your favorite scene or a scene that stood out to you from Mad Max 2: The Road Warrior?
Oh my God, this is tough. I rewatched it recently, and every shot is amazing. But I guess the one I have to say MVP is when after he sees all the defenders of the settlers pretty much gone, right? He's like the only person left, and the kid, because the kid just stole away bizarrely, which is annoying. But he, gets ready. He has the gun, because the first time he shot the shotgun was it didn't work, and then the second time it does work, and it's so badass. That's one of my favorite scenes from this movie. Is when he does it, he shoots it to that car, and it dries off. It's so spectacular. One of the greatest shots from this movie, because it's Mad Max is it's gonna bend this truck, not knowing the twist, which when I discovered that, I was like, whoa, that is so cool. And it kind of was foreshadowed, because the leader is so smart, because from the beginning, when Max wants the oil, he did do that kind of diversion where he had that one couple had to go this way. Unfortunately, they didn't go through, and then you got the other ones, so it made a lot of sense when you rewatch it. But yeah, that shot when he finally his shotgun shots, it's really good, because that gag gets reused in Fury Road when Tom Hardy has to do it, and it's oh, that was so cool that George Bale brought that back. That was such a funny gag. Does have to say. That's my favorite.
I do love the shotgun shell misfiring, and his shotgun almost blows up in his hand. You love it when the plan, and it doesn't go right for your hero, and he's got to improvise. That's great stuff.
Peter, your favorite scene from
My favorite scene would be when Max has to get the rig back to camp, and there are just some great establishing helicopter shots of all of the bad guys honing in on him, chasing him, and I think Wes and a handful of other guys make it into the compound with him. And I like it so much because it displays Wes's competency of just being a warrior. All of the other bad guys get killed, but Wes fights his way through this impossible situation. There's great close-up shots of his face. He does round off back handsprings over dudes, pole vaults his way out of there, sliding down sails and stuff. Like I said, like Errol Flynn type of old school action that completely works. And earlier in the movie, you just got to see distance shots of them looking through binoculars, of using how do they defend their compound with flamethrowers and stuff. But then when this action scene happens, we get put in it. We get to see how it works. And I thought that was just badass. And I think the gyro captain's throwing snakes during this this scene as well. It's just all this little stuff came together, and it set up Wes, dude, this guy is a competent antagonist to Max if he can survive this little action scene. It was cool.
It's great stuff. My favorite scene, we haven't really talked about it, but I love when Lord Humongous shows up and basically threatens the people. His whole speech, and then the boomerang, the slicing the fingers off, killing.
That was so damn funny.
Killing Wes's partner. Just really, really funny, unintentional funny stuff going on, intentional funny stuff going on. Just great stuff. I could listen to Lord Humongous give speeches all day.
See, what I feel like I didn't think Lord Humongous's voice was bad, but like, I don't know, could it have been?
It was better? Like a very, very poor man's Arnold.
Yeah,
I was thinking more
little Australian accent.
But it's like, here's one of his lines: like, I'm gravely disappointed. Again, you have made me unleash my dogs of war.
The gate, get the gate.
The gate.
Yes, obey me, you puppy.
And I'll just transition into Lord Humongous is my performance of the movie. Shout out to Wes, like very, very close there. But here's my favorite line from Lord Humongous is, "Be still, my dog of war.
Yeah.
I understand your pain. We've all lost someone we loved, but we do it my way." And he's just like fighting Wes down and like putting him to sleep. Just incredible stuff. Like such a crazy looking character with the hockey mask, and it looks like he has radiation burns all over him. Super jacked. Just super, super cool character.
He inspired Jason Voorhees later on in part 3.
That's right, because they didn't have. When did the first 2 Jason movies featured no hockey mask, right?
No, part 3 comes out in 82, and that's when he gets the hockey mask.
Yeah,
because part
also,
2 comes out in 81.
Shout out to Lord Humongous with the ultimate Trump line, "What a puny plan."
Yeah,
just incredible stuff from Lord Humongous.
Yeah,
the man does not like a small plan. He needs a big plan. He needs the biggest plan. He needs a humongous plan, not a puny plan. Peter, who is your performance of the movie?
My best performance, definitely Wes. He's got the signature mohawk, shoulder pads, and of course, assless chaps and a leather thong. That they don't focus on it too much, but you get to see those sweet.
There's a shot where he goes up over the bus gate.
Yeah,
where you got an angle.
Yeah, just brief. You got to blink and you'll miss it. I thought he had a great face, some great shots of him. His eyes were fantastic. Like I said, the formidable warrior to survive that action scene that I mentioned before. He was my favorite performance. And like you said, he falls over the hood in the final action scene. And I knew, I was like, he's not dead. Like, no way. You don't.
No.
You got to show him die. If he's dead, he's not dead. He's coming back. So I loved it. He was great.
Yeah, this movie has the best jump scares. Like the truck, the first time with Max sees the truck and that dead body comes out, I was like, what the heck? And then of course the fake out with Russ is like, oh my god. Great choice. I love the actor Vern Wells because he plays my favorite Power Ranger villain. What is it? From Time Force. He's great in that show, and of course he's great as Bennett in Commando. Let some steam, Bennett. And I can't believe I totally forgot that's the same actor, and he's amazing in this movie.
One of the greatest.
Have you seen Inner Space?
No, I didn't know he's in that movie. That's funny.
Inner Space is a great sci-fi comedy, and he plays like a lead henchman who has one hand, and so on the other hand that has no hand, he attaches all these different like either weapons or like elements of torture and stuff. You need to see Inner Space because he's in that too.
I love Joe Tante. I need to see that movie. I know a lot of people loves that movie.
Arnold's introduction in the movie Commando, he is carrying a log that is the size of a redwood tree.
Never seen Commando. Gotta see it.
What?
Never seen Commando. I feel like I've heard people say like, "Oh, if you've seen Predator, then like you get the beginning of Predator is like."
No.
Okay,
Commando's a whole new
blind
beast.
spot. I gotta see it.
There's a scene where Arnold throws someone through the wall of a motel into someone having, or a couple having sex.
Oh God, that sounds like it's straight out of the '80s right there for sure.
Yeah,
great.
There's that movie also has the best one-liners. Like you will like it. Is it my turn? My favorite character. I would give this to the leader of the Senators. I forgot his name. What was his name?
I've been calling him Zeta.
Zeta, yeah. Let's go with that because he has a weird one. He's a great character. I think he's one of the best like idealistic leader who is trying his best to kind of like, help his community. Despite how harsh the condition is, and like, I mean, after that, first time we meet them and like they got their people, and it's like, yeah, like everyone felt like, I don't want to listen to you because like we're losing people, man, and it's like they're giving us like a chance to get out of here alive, right? And the fact that Max got there on time, it gave them a lot more opportunities, and man, his crazy plan to be the diversion is like the perfect plan. Like as Luke said before with the main villain's like tiny plan. This is literally what you want, sir, and that was your fault for asking. This was a big plan. No one knew about it, and it's like, oh my God, he was a genius. He was
heroic. He offered to drive the rig, even though he knows he's not as good as Max, but he offered to do it, and he went with Max while Max drove the rig to be part of the diversion. He is quite the hero.
Exactly. Yeah. And, give a shout out with that. I think we should honor him because I thought he did such an amazing job. And I always felt bad when he died because I was like, oh, come on.
Trident in the back.
Yeah, I know. It's like, where'd they get the trident?
The miniature trident.
Yeah.
It almost looked like the tip to like what you'd have fashioned onto an arrow. You wanted to hook something in and not be able to get it back out again. Humongous, just trident tossing that thing. Unbelievable stuff. MVP performance. Andres, who's the MVP of Road Warrior?
Oh man, tough one. I'll give it to the dog. That dog.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah, no name. He was so cute. Like he actually did his job. Like the part where, like when that rabbit was coming out from that like road, he didn't flinch. Like he did his job. It was like wow. Like he almost scared that gyro captive, and I always hate this in these movies and TV when they had to hurt Amino. And it's like why? I didn't like that. One of the bad guys had to shoot it, and I was like, "Oh, this is where like Max needs his revenge."
At least they did it off camera, and Max got to blow him up for it.
Yeah, exactly. So give the MVP for the dog because he did everything right. He was the best dog ever.
Good boy.
Yeah, good boy.
Peter, MVP.
MVP. Can I give it to the costume designer? Costume department.
Yeah.
Norma Morrisseau, I looked it up. Visual storytelling, very easy to figure out who is good, who is bad. Just weird compilation of different kinds of bits of armor and clothing that they're all wearing. Like I said, just the sexy leather that the dudes are wearing. It's just the choices are big. And they set the stage and they work really well. And that's what I loved about this. Just defined everything going forward was a big part was the costume. So that's my MVP, costume designer.
Well, Peter, if you like sexy leather, boy, do I have a film for you to check out. And that is the movie Cruising with Al Pacino.
I've not seen it.
Cruising. Watch that one alone. I'll just put it that way.
If my wife comes in, don't come in here.
Nope, you definitely
Stay
not.
Away.
She will have a lot of questions. You will not have a lot of ways to defend yourself.
Oh my God.
But it is
Wait.
still it's a Brian De Palma film. So
Okay. All
not
right.
like this is some, B movie. This is Pacino in the 80s. This is De
Yeah.
Palma.
Yeah. Before
It is a
Scarface.
wild film. My MVP is gonna go to George. And it will probably be George all the way through. Since you guys so favorably gave it to other people, thank you for doing that. So we didn't just have George Miller win the MVP for everything. But I think he has to get shouted out again. Had $4 million this time to work with, used every penny of it in the best way that he knew how. He defined action for many people from that era. People reference it decades later. They're like, I saw The Road Warrior and was like, oh, that guy's doing something completely new that had never been done before. He revolutionized everything. It's why it took him so long to put together Fury Road, because he wanted as much control as he had to do that. And I think Fury Road really just turns into, like, if you watch The Road Warrior and you're like, that last chase scene is nuts. It's epic. It's the best thing possible.
Yeah.
Your mind must have been so blown by Fury Road. Like, I can't even imagine waiting for 20 years and being like, man, I hope they don't screw this up. And then you're just like, whoa, holy shit. Like, it can get bigger. It can get faster. It can look even better.
The editing in Fury Road is second to none.
Amazing. I knew it was great.
Incredible technical achievements in that film.
Yeah. I knew it was great when we saw the one Mario Joe gang with the guitar that throws the flame for it. I was like, oh my God, I never saw that before in any movie. I was like, this is
I might be getting this wrong, so forgive me, and I will correct it on the Fury Road episode, but I believe they either ended up shooting, or George Miller's like ideal location that he wanted to shoot Fury Road at was the Namibian desert in Africa. Namibian desert in Africa. There's an episode of Top Gear when the host moved to Amazon. So the Grand Tour, I believe is what it's called. Mm-hmm. And they shoot an episode in the Namibian desert. Absolutely incredible place to shoot. So when I saw that episode, I'm like, I understand why George was basically like, it needs to get shot here. Because it's the only thing better than kind of the Australian outback that he so perfected in The Road Warrior.
Yeah. I mean, because I know we're not beyond the Thunderdome yet, but like even we're
always beyond the Thunderdome, Andres.
I know we're
ever since '88 or whenever that movie came out, we've been beyond the Thunderdome.
Yeah, we're beyond the Thunderdome. Yeah. But yeah, even that movie, the location is different from from The Road Warrior. Like, it's much more like kind of close to what Fury Road kind of is, and when we get to it, but just more grandeur and a little more.
I literally just clicked into my head why Thunderdome has gotten more popular is because there's a Rick and Morty episode where it's heavily referenced.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that movie has Tina Turner. Let's be honest here. The late
for people from the 2020s to go back to that film, it took Rick and Morty essentially doing the Simpsons referencing of it.
So can you kind of describe to me like the timeline of the movies in America? Did you say that the first one had a very limited
release?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then was re-released, I believe, around either concurrent with Road Warrior, so people could see both, or came after Road Warrior had come to theaters. It went back into theaters.
So it's almost like most of America was introduced with
via Road Warrior.
And so it's completely Australian. And so then I think it sounds like a very smart choice to really rein in that American audience and put Tina Turner in the next one. That sounds like that's probably a smart idea, just to ramp up popularity. I mean, is that kind of how it went? Was that how
Well,
that choice was?
it was always a script about children in this wasteland and them like living in a bad location and needing someone to come in and basically rescue them out. And then they just decided to insert Max.
Yeah. So the other reason that this got more widespread is because this movie and the next one and the next few movies, the Warner Brothers take over the distribution. That's the big thing about this movie moving forward, is that Warner Brothers help like expand the world and the movies more to the wide American audience. Yeah, Beyond the Thunderdome is very interesting in terms of how it was made. Unfortunately, it's a very tragic one because you can tell that George Miller just didn't want to direct that film when you guys get to it, because his producer, the main producer that
Byron Kennedy, we talked about on the first episode, but yeah, the kind of second banana to George Miller for the first two movies tragically dies in a helicopter accident.
Yeah, because I think that second year director cared more about the kids' storyline. And then I think when you see the Thunderdome, it's like, it's Mad Max, you know? And then when you get to the kids, it's like, what the heck am I watching here? Like, I'm watching like a... It's a very interesting movie, but it has its charms.
Yeah.
You know?
It's the Army of Darkness of Mad Max.
I can't wait to. I watched the first 20 minutes of it a couple days ago, so I still haven't watched all of Beyond Thunderdome. So I'm excited to watch that. It was looking good so far.
Yeah, it's really good. It's not a bad movie. It's like, it's not like, if it's not going to be rated R, so you have to keep in mind, it's like it's the most, like, how do you say, mainstream of any of these Mad Max films.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's fine, and at least it doesn't lose like its identity. Like the Thunderdome is really good, and like it doesn't disappoint. And Tina Turner is a great antagonist. Like that's the big thing that I have to say, that to honor that great late senior is, like, she was just like, she had great chemistry with Mel Gibson in that movie.
It's time to Tina Turner your clocks back.
Yeah. I just
the opening song is by Tina Turner, and I was like, all right,
yeah,
we're getting into Tina Turner right away.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we will be back with the show next week with Beyond Thunderdome, the Mad Max version of it. We'll be right back with you. I believe we got Peter back on the show. Andres, we will see, and hopefully we've got Chris back for Beyond Thunderdome. But we will see you guys next week for that. Thank you, Peter. Thank you.
Got it. Hey, what about ratings? Overall ratings?
Oh, we didn't even give a rating. I almost closed the show without giving a rating. Andres, out of 10.
I'll give this 10. Yeah, 10. This is a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
It's the greatest action film of all time. If you guys put this low, I'm like, you're crazy. Because you're just out of your mind. It's one of the greatest action films. I love it. It's close to me, It's because my dad and I watched this film so many times because it's such a great film,
So good.
Yeah, so good. So 10 out of 10.
Peter.
Yep. I'm gonna rate this a 9 out of 10. 9.0 is
9.
Excellent movie.
8 out of 10.
It was so good. I was thoroughly engrossed. Just like I said, greatest jump in quality from movie 1 to movie 2 that I've ever seen. Phenomenal.
I'm going to give it an 8.5. Just remember that I have to contextualize it within all the other ratings I've given all the other franchise movies. 8.5 is very high within that context. I don't give a lot of movies over 9. Probably coming up with Fury Road. Don't hold your breath on that one. You will not be shocked by my rating over 9 of Fury Road. But yeah, this is 8.5. Incredible movie. I think one of the best action movies of the 80s, and really revolutionized the craft. Just it basically confirms the genius of Miller. If he is given money, he will make you something spectacular. We will talk more about his spectacular work with Beyond Thunderdome and then Furiosa the week afterward, or Fury Road and then Furiosa to finish it up. We will see Andres back on a couple of those episodes. Peter should be with us most of the rest of the run. And like I said, Chris will be joining. We miss him in his absence. But we are out. Thanks again, Peter. Thanks again, Andres.
You got it.
No problem.